Hey there, and a very warm welcome. Have you ever just stopped for a second and wondered about your own brain? It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? We all walk around with this incredibly complex tool inside our heads, yet we all face the exact same everyday struggles with it. Well, welcome to channel trailer and explainers we're calling Mind Over Matter. I'm going to be your guide here, and our goal is to take all those messy, swirling thoughts and feelings we experience literally every single day and put them on focus, so we can actually understand them clearly. Together, we're going to explore that amazing connection between your mind, your brain, your behavior, and your actual daily life. So go ahead and settle in, because we're about to decode the very thing that drives everything you do. So let's kick things off with a question I know for a fact every single one of us has wrestled with. Why do you keep overthinking something you already know the answer to? Seriously, why is it that you can have a totally normal conversation, know exactly what was said, and yet, 3 hours later, your mind is just spinning? You start creating these entirely new problems that don't even exist in the real world. It's exhausting. We've literally built hurdles out of thin air, and somehow our brains convince us that these imaginary problems are totally real. And it goes way deeper than just overthinking stuff. Why is it so ridiculously hard to stay focused when you genuinely want to? Or to keep your cool and control your emotions in a heated moment? Or maybe the most frustrating one of all, why is it so tough to just build confidence? Or break a routine or bad habit that you absolutely know is terrible for you? It's incredibly defeating when you have this crystal clear goal in mind, but your daily behaviors just totally refuse to get on board with it. Which kind of brings us to the ultimate irony of being human, right? Why do we understand so much about life, but struggle so deeply to actually apply it to our own lives? We read all the books, we listen to the advice, we know exactly what we're supposed to do, but then fear just stops you right in your tracks. Or a sudden drop in motivation completely derails your perfectly laid plans. Honestly, sometimes it feels like your brain is actively sabotaging your own intentions. And that right there is the foundational philosophy behind Mind Over Matter. When you understand how your mind works, you can begin to change how you live. It's a remarkably simple idea, but it's a total game changer. You just cannot force genuine, lasting change through sheer willpower alone if you don't understand the machinery running behind the scenes. Changing how you live is a direct result of first understanding the nuts and bolts of your own mind. Look, we're not here to throw a bunch of complicated academic theories at you just for the sake of sounding smart. No way. Instead, we're unpacking practical, everyday stuff. We're talking about why you procrastinate, why you lose motivation, why you replay conversations in your head, and why criticism stings so much. We're looking at how to break bad habits and overcome fear. We want to know why these things happen, and far more importantly, what you can actually do about them today. To pull this off, we're going to borrow from some absolutely fascinating fields. We're diving into psychology, neuroscience, human behavior, mindset, and practical self-development. But hey, don't worry, we are absolutely not getting bogged down in boring academic jargon. Our job is to take the really powerful concepts from these disciplines, break them down so they're super clear, and connect them directly to the stuff you're dealing with in real life. Because let's be real, knowledge is only actually powerful when you can use it, right? A fancy theory sitting in a textbook isn't going to help you on a chaotic Tuesday morning when you're feeling totally overwhelmed. Our whole goal with these explainers is practical application. Whether you're trying to focus better, handle your stress, communicate clearly, build stronger relationships, or just understand yourself a bit more, the point is to hand you tools you can pick up and use right away. No, I want to share something pretty important about how we actually approach this. At Mind Over Matter, we have this gentle but really firm belief the message absolutely comes first. We don't believe a great explainer needs wildly expensive equipment, crazy production setups, or flashy visual effects. Because of that, in most of our explainers, the audio part is actually the most important thing for you as the viewer. I really want to encourage you to give the audio your absolute full attention. Listen carefully, lean in. Because honestly, sometimes all it takes is just one simple sentence, one clear idea, or a tiny perspective that you hear to completely change how you handle a struggle you've had for years. Use the visuals as your anchor for sure, but let the audio be your true guide. I also want to be super honest with you about something we all know deep down. Change doesn't happen overnight. I want to manage those expectations right out of the gate. You don't just consume an explainer, wake up the next morning and suddenly find yourself flawlessly confident, completely focused, endlessly motivated, and totally free from overthinking. That is just not how human beings are wired. So how does it actually work? Well, real transformation happens incrementally. It's a step-by-step thing. Step 1 starts with just a tiny shift in understanding, maybe looking at a problem differently or catching a thought pattern. Step 2, that new understanding, gives you a slightly different way to respond when things get tough. And step 3, that one small change leads to another and another, until very slowly your whole life just starts to feel different. And that brings up a really crucial distinction about who we are. Mind over matter is not about pretending life is always a breeze. We aren't here promising instant magical transformations. And we are definitely not going to just tell you to think positive, which, let's be honest, is usually just toxic positivity. Instead, we're all about honest, grounded self-discovery. We're finding practical, realistic ways to work with your mind rather than just slapping a band-aid over the symptoms. Because at the end of the day, your mind is a total double-edged sword. It can literally be your greatest obstacle, or your absolute greatest resource, and it's the exact same mind. The only difference between those two realities usually comes down to simply understanding its mechanics a little better. Once you get the why, you unlock the power to take what used to be a massive roadblock and turn it into your most powerful tool. So if you're curious about your own mind, if you want to figure yourself out a bit better, and if you're looking for incredibly practical ways to tackle everyday challenges, you are in exactly the right place. I'd love for you to subscribe and join us on this journey. Remember, it's just about one idea, one insight, and one small change at a time. Getting better doesn't mean being perfect. It's a totally manageable, highly rewarding journey, and we're going to take it together. I'm going to leave you with this one final provocative thought. We've talked a lot about the mind, and we've talked about the matter. But seriously, ask yourself right now what actually becomes possible for you in your real, everyday life when your mind and matter finally start working together. I am so incredibly excited for you to find out. Keep that question in the back of your head. Keep your ears open. Understand closely to the videos in our upcoming. And let's start uncovering those answers together.